Hello everyone. Yesterday's Hindu newspaper had a news related to FATF and its grey list and Pakistan being retained in it. So in this video we are going to learn about all the details, FATF, money laundering and India's efforts on preventing money laundering and terrorism financing. Before getting into the video, let us go over with the basics. What is money laundering? Many of you would already be aware of it, but this is for the beginners. Firstly, money laundering is an illegal process. It is done by converting money earned from illegal activities such as smuggling or drug trafficking or whatever it may be. So, these illegally earned money from the illegal activities will be converted into clean money so that those money can be freely used in legal ways. So, why was the FATF in the news yesterday? FATF had its virtual plenary session this week. It was virtual because of the pandemic lockdown, during which FATF decided to retain Pakistan on its grey list, which means Pakistan will be closely monitored by the FATF. So you may have a question here, why Pakistan was added to the grey list in the first place? FATF members felt that Pakistan's efforts were not satisfactory in prosecuting the leaders of the UNSC designated terror groups such as Lashkar-e-Taiba, Jaish-e-Mohammed, Al-Qaeda and Taliban. So FATF added Pakistan in the grey list so that the members of the FATF can peer review or monitor the Pakistan's efforts towards the same. So we are coming with this organization a lot in the newspapers these days. So what is FATF? FATF is an intergovernmental organization. It is intergovernmental organization. It is an intergovernmental organization established in 1989. Established in 1989 on the initiative of the G7 countries to combat money laundering. So initially, FATF's mandate was only to combat money laundering. Initially, since 1989, it was only to combat money laundering. In 2001, we had a 9/11 terror attacks. You may very well be aware of it. The Twin Towers attack by masterminded by Osama bin Laden in USA. FATF had enough evidences to link money laundering with terrorism financing. So its members decided to expand its mandate to include terrorism financing. So since 2001, FATF's mandate also includes terrorism financing. Currently they have two mandates. One is money laundering and the second one is terrorism financing. So try to remember like this. FATF is equal to MLTF. Money laundering and terrorism financing. So this will be easy for you to remember. So currently there are around 39 members, including India. So India is a member. This is very important fact for prelims. It is very important. India is also a member, and the FATF is headquartered in Paris, which is in France. It is not a part of the UN system. This is very, very important. I can expect question on this. UN. So how FATF works? FATF gives recommendations to its members and monitors the progress of the implementation. It gives recommendations to its members and monitors the progress through peer reviews or mutual evaluations. So for example, one member will evaluate the policies of another member. I hope you can understand. This is called peer review or mutual evaluation. FATF has made a lot of recommendations to its member countries to combat money laundering and terrorism financing. So it has recommended the member countries to implement those guidelines which was issued by the FATF, and these guidelines were jointly developed by the member states. Let's see those recommendations one by one, the major recommendations and India's efforts on implementing those recommendations. The first major one is that the FATF has recommended its member countries to implement relevant international conventions relating to money laundering and terrorism financing. So India has enacted various legislations and has passed various rules for these. And the most important of all such is that the Prevention of Money Laundering Act, which was passed by the Indian Parliament in 2002. The second major recommendation is that the member countries should pass legislations and follow frame rules to criminalize money laundering, which so that they can enable their authorities to confiscate the proceeds of the money laundering cases. So India has made necessary provisions in the PMLA. We'll see this in short. Prevention of Money Laundering Act, which was passed in 2002. I hope you remember, which was passed in 2002. This is PMLA. So India has made necessary provisions in the PMLA that empowers certain organizations like the Directorate of Enforcement to carry out investigations in money laundering cases and allow those organizations to confiscate related properties. So the second recommendations was clearly included in the provisions of the PMLA through organizations such as IT department. Even IT department is empowered with certain rules and regulations to monitor or to combat terrorism financing and money laundering. And Directorate of Enforcement Directorate is also empowered. And there are other various organizations who are also empowered to combat money laundering and terrorism financing. The third major recommendation is that the member countries must create a record and report mechanism. To create a record and report mechanism. To create a record and report mechanism of suspicious transactions, which are suspicious in nature, for financial institutions, especially banks. India has made certain provisions in the PMLA, the Prevention of Money Laundering Act, so that every banking company in India should furnish details of suspicious transactions to the relevant authorities, as I said earlier. The fourth major recommendation is that its members must establish a financial intelligence unit to receive and process suspicious transactions and their reports. India established its own financial intelligence unit, which is in short FIUIND. You can Google about this. India's own FIU. It is called FIUIND, Financial Intelligence Unit, India. It was established in 2004. 2 years after PMLA. So it was established in 2004. It is a central agency. The major mandate of FIUIND is to receive info and investigate those cases of suspicious transactions. Financial transactions. Let us have like this: suspicious financial transactions. It is also, FIUIND is also an independent body. It is also an independent body which directly reports to the Economic Intelligence Council, and this Economic Intelligence Council is headed by the Finance Minister. This is very, very important for the prelims. So the Financial Intelligence Unit India directly reports to the Economic Intelligence Council headed by the Finance Minister. The fifth major recommendation is that the member countries should cooperate globally and to make the investigations and prosecution of money laundering cases effective. Money laundering cases effective. So FATF feels that only when the countries come join together, only when the members, we saw FATF had 39 members, right? So FATF feels that when 39 members comes together in implementing and processing information and sharing intelligence of the money laundering and terrorism financing suspicious transactions or the cases or extraditions, so a lot of efficient outcomes can be brought out by this cooperation. To give effect to this recommendation, India's Financial Intelligence Unit has signed MOU with Mauritius, Philippines and Brazil. These are the three countries the FIU has signed MOU so far. And India, under this agreement, these countries will exchange information relating to money laundering and terrorism financing. So this is a bilateral one. For example, India shares information with Mauritius and Mauritius shares information with India. So India shares information with Philippines and Philippines shares with India. So this is not a multilateral or a regional forum. This is a bilateral agreement because this is an MOU between two countries. In addition, India is also a member of the Asia Pacific Group. Its mandate is to combat money laundering. This group was established, this APG was established in 1997. It is an autonomous anti-money laundering body. It is an autonomous anti-money laundering body, a regional body. It covers only Asia Pacific region. So APG primarily enables its member countries in implementation of the international anti-money laundering and anti-terror financing standards and policies. And also it makes sure the FATF's guidelines are implemented by members of APG. So it has an additional mandate of making sure that the APG members are implementing the guidelines of the FATF in combating money laundering and terrorism financing. So currently there are two countries in the FATF blacklist. One is Iran and the another one is North Korea. So what are the countries in the grey list? There are around 15 countries in the grey list. There are around 15 countries. There are around 15 countries in the grey list, which includes Zimbabwe, Yemen, Syria, Panama and Pakistan. Pakistan is very important because it was recently in news. Recent in the sense it was in the news yesterday. So what are the consequences of being grey listed? Is it really effective in combating money laundering and preventing terrorism financing? Well, FATF has no formal legal sanctions. This is very important. They don't have any formal legal sanctions if you're placed in the grey list. But when a country is listed in a grey list, the particular country comes to under a strong global financial pressure. Attracts a lot of economic criticisms. It attracts a lot of economic criticisms, which restricts the country's access to international loans. This is very important. Which, for example, if a country like Pakistan or Zimbabwe is applying for a loan in any organizations like AIIB or World Bank or any other financial institutions like the Asian Development Bank, ADB, or if those countries are applying for loans with any particular country like India or USA or any other member of the FATF these countries will consider that the Pakistan is in the FATF grey list, so this will give restricted access to the international loans. So another additional information here is that yesterday's Hindu newspaper, in the first page reported that Pakistan's foreign minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi had estimated a loss of $10 billion every year $10 billion, such a huge amount every year, as a loss to the Pakistan's economy since it was grey listed. So we can now know the momentum or the quantum of the financial loss faced by Pakistan since it was grey listed. We cannot neglect that grey listing is not, it does not have a formal legal sanction, so it is not ineffective. If you like the video, please subscribe to our channel. We'll keep posting more videos in the coming days. If you have any feedback, do not hesitate to drop them in the comment section. Thank you so much.